Hey, what's up, everyone? So today we're gonna focus on confession stories today. Before we start, I appreciate you guys subscribing and liking the video. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and trying to make it grow. All right, you guys hit it? All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first one, we're just gonna tug on your emotional heartstrings for today. The title says, I cried to my girlfriend for the first time. I've never been much of a crier. I've seen my girlfriend cry. I've seen my family and friends cry, but I never cry. Today I had a bad day. I've always had a hard life, and I didn't really care. My father was my only escape, and he died when I was 14, and he gave me a ring to remember him. This was his engagement and wedding ring, and he told me to keep it safe and give it to the girl I loved. I wear this ring every day. One day, I took his ring off when I was sleeping, and I lost it. I was devastated, and I didn't know how to react. My girlfriend helped me look for it, and when we were sitting on a couch, I guess I had such an annoyed and sad face. My girlfriend began to apologize for her being annoying and unable to find the ring. She kept on looking for it everywhere, and she wouldn't stop. I kept asking her to stop looking for it because she was exerting herself. She does these little cute rambles when she talks and began to do it over and over again while she's looking for the ring. After what seemed like countless hours and days and weeks to me, she found the ring. It was in my backpack pocket. I held my hand open to receive it from her. Instead, she took it and put it back on the finger where I always wear it. She had the cutest smile on her face, and she said, "See, I told you we'll find it. I promised, didn't I?" In that moment, I lost it. I hugged her and cried. I cried like a child loudly and didn't stop. My girlfriend sat there for a moment and just held me, rubbing my head and asking me what was wrong. I told her I loved her so much, and she was the most amazing girl, my dream girl. She told me she loved me, and she began to cry and rambling. She's the most amazing person I ever had. And Dad, I found her, and I'm going to give her your ring. Moving to our next story, it's a little bit of gear shift, but hang in there. This is titled, Living with Schizophrenia, My Personal and Honest Experience. Due to obvious reasons, this post will remain anonymous. I am schizophrenic. There's a general stereotype about people with my illness. Many people think we hear voices telling us to kill, and they assume we are always in a state of psychosis. But that's not true at all. So here is a general rundown of what I go through personally. The voices I hear of a young male, his name is Kevin. Kevin is in his early 20s. The voices I hear most often is dedicated to making me happy and encouraging me in a positive way. In an aftermath of my mental breakdowns or schizophrenic episodes, he loves to comfort me when I am upset or crying. Every day, he gives me advice on what I should do, how should I dress, and just all around, he makes me comfortable and happy. Throughout the years, my auditory voice, Kevin, has told me the following things. He tells me he's my son and that we are married and we have 2 children. In his explanation, he said we are in a family vacation together with our children and own our own businesses. His profession is an architect, and I'm a furniture designer. He told me he suffers from extreme anxiety, but that's all. My schizophrenia has kept him in the center of my life for nearly 7 years. Besides this, he is extremely sensitive and cries constantly. He talks about me to other voices and how much he loves and adores me. He protects me from the demonic hallucinations I have and immediately comes to my aid to make sure that they don't harm me. I never dated anyone else besides one person on and off again for 6 years. And I've never been sexually intimate with a real person because I feel like I'm cheating on him. And for that same reason, I refuse to date anymore. I don't want to break his heart. My family asks me why I'm single and even tries to tell me that I need to get out and socialize, to find someone romantically, but they just don't understand. I don't feel like anyone else understands. The following are the original post's response to the community. I'm in my early 20s, and Kevin is a constant voice when I'm off medication. I cannot hear him or see him on any type of antipsychotics. And Kevin is the only human voice I hear, and he's the only positive voice and hallucination I have. The rest of them I see and hear are demonic, and they can shapeshift into my family members, and they try to trick me and attack me. A person asked, "This might be a weird question, but how did you find out you had schizophrenia? Has Kevin been with you all your life, or was there a time he just popped? Also, can you differentiate between someone that's physically in the room with you while Kevin is there?" I realized I had schizophrenia over 7 years ago. I just woke up one morning and I just knew something was different. I felt unsafe and paranoid. I heard mumblings and whisper of demonic voices. They started visually hallucinating as well, seeing demonic stuff out of corners of my eyes. And a few days later, Kevin popped up and I started hearing him and seeing him. I was asking him questions like who he was and why he was there, and he told me he was my protector. He'd been searching for me. And I started dreaming about him almost every night. I had these night fits where I would shake and I would have seizures. These weren't actual real seizures, but they were seizure-like. I couldn't see anything around me besides these demonic things hovering over my bed, telling me grave details of what horrible things they're going to do to me, and that Kevin wouldn't be there to save me. This really scared me. Over the past 7 years, I was severely paranoid and got scared, and I was not medicated or diagnosed for years, wondering what was wrong with me, and I thought I was going to die. I had a lot of mental breakdowns in the mental hospital nearly 10 times a year. When I'm having an extreme manic episode, I would barricade myself in the bedroom with my dresser over the door and hunker down with a bunch of knives and other dangerous objects because I think people was out there to get me or kill me or do other worse things to me. Kevin would be standing in the room with me, telling me to calm down and let my family members come in and try to help me. And yes, I do miss Kevin when he's not around. Alright, and for our last story today, it's titled, "I Made a Big Mistake. I was horny and I hooked up with a married woman." I hooked up with the woman that I met at the bar last weekend. I'm not normally into the one night stand thing or the hookup culture, but I was horny and she was hot. Well, we went back to her place and did the deed, and after we were done, I took a shower and was getting dressed. And then she screamed at me and says, "You need to hurry. My husband just texted me he's going to be here soon." I was shocked because she said nothing about being married. And I said, "You have a husband? What the fuck?" She seemed shocked and said, "Is this a problem for you?" I said yes. And even though we exchanged phone numbers, I didn't want to see her again. Well, on Monday, I searched for her name on Facebook, found her husband, and sent him a quick message. I told him that we hooked up last weekend and that she wasn't wearing a wedding ring, and I didn't know she was married, and we had sex in his bed, and she told me afterwards. I told him I was very sorry, and if I had known, I would never have slept with her, and he's welcome to punch me in the face if he sees me. He sent me a message back, and he said, he had a feeling that she's been sleeping around and that he was appreciative that I told him what happened and that he was not upset with me. He said that he was going to confront her in a couple days. Today, she texted me and she was angry that I told her husband and that he was filing divorce. And I texted back, "Is that a problem for you?" And she has not responded. I still feel shitty, but I'm glad I told her husband. It felt like the right thing to do. And if I were him, I would want to know the same thing. Well, those are all the stories today. Appreciate you guys subscribing and liking if you guys haven't hit that like button yet. And there's more stories to come. Feel free to click on the new links below or on the screen. See you soon.